Dear friends, I hope this finds you well. It has, of course, been a very momentous week, difficult week. A lot's been happening in this past week, of course, with the ongoing bushfires in Australia, and of course, the very dramatic assassination of Soleimani, Yamach Shemo, a man who is looking for the death of the Jewish people, and so his death is definitely one that we should, we do not rejoice at the death of our enemies, but we should be grateful that he is no longer plotting the death of the Jewish people and damage to Am Yisrael. It's been a dramatic week, and many of you, I'm sure, like me, have been kind of our eyes peeled to the various different news outlets, trying to see what's going to happen with US and Iran, and of course what's going on in Australia. And I don't know if you've come across these things, but I've seen a lot of people talking about how the killing of Soleimani is something that kind of is bringing in the era of the redemption. This is kind of like this rabbi. There's always this rabbi in Bnei Brak who says that this is it. This is the final step, and maybe, right? Who knows? Who knows? It's certainly dramatic, and definitely will raise the stakes a bit. But who knows? And it's this idea of knowing when the redemption comes, which is a really fascinating idea. It, of course, appears quite explicitly in our Parsha this week, Parshat Vayechi. Vayechi is really all about the end, even though and Yaakov lived, but it's really the end of Yaakov's life. And Parshat Vayechi is what's known as a parasha stuma, a closed, a sealed parsha, whereas the other parshiot, there's a bit of a gap in the letters before one parsha starts and the other parsha ends. There's a little bit of a gap. Parshat Vayechi, there's no gap. It starts immediately after Parshat Vayigash. And the question is why? Why is it a sealed, closed parsha? So Rashi gives two answers. One, he says that the eyes of the Jewish people start to close because Parshat Vayechi is kind of the beginning of the end, if you will. It's the beginning of the difficulties with the death of Yaakov. It transitions from this, the book of Breshit into the book of Shmot, where the Jewish people find themselves in slavery and all the difficulty that goes on there. That's one answer. The other answer that's given by Rashi is that Yaakov, at this moment, he wants to reveal the end of days. Yaakov wants to reveal the end of days to his sons. He says to his sons, I'm going to gather you up and reveal to you what happens at the end of days. And he starts, and all of a sudden in the parsha it says, he wants to tell them what will be in the Acharit Hayamim, and then he just moves on and he starts blessing Reuven. And the question is why? And so Rashi says he wanted to reveal the end of days, but then the Shekhinah, the divine presence, left him. The divine presence leaves him, and he just moves on. He wanted to reveal the end of days, but he was unable to do so. And the Gemara in Psachim says that he wanted to reveal the end of days, and when he couldn't, he thought the reason why he couldn't was because there was some deficiency, some fault amongst his sons. There was something missing, and he couldn't reveal to him those secrets. But then they say to him, no, this is not the case. We are all one. We are all connected. We are all unified. And they say to Yaakov, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. Hear Yisrael, hear, O Israel. Hashem is our God. Hashem is one. We are unified. We are together. We are one. But even so, nonetheless, he doesn't reveal to them. He thinks that there is a deficiency. They say that there isn't, but he doesn't reveal the end. And there's lots of different ideas that can be communicated on this. But I think that it's possible to suggest that really we should not calculate when the end of days is. We don't need to know when the end of days will be. We shouldn't kind of work out all of these theories, right? He obviously had deep insight into what was going to happen. But that's not the point. The point is, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. Wherever we are, whatever is going on, this is exactly what it is that Hashem wants us to be going through. Sometimes it's difficult. It's the famous story of Rabbi Akiva at his, the moment of his death. Rabbi Akiva, he was punished for teaching Torah in public by the Romans, and therefore he's being killed, tortured in public, and he says in that final moment, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. Rabbi Akiva, in that final moment, even in such difficulty, he's able to recognize that it comes from Hashem. And that is really our task. Our task is never to say, oh, what's going to be? When will it be? Right? When is the redemption going to come? We don't know. Our task right now, whatever is going on, is to try to tap into that Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad, to try to work on our connection to divinity, to work on our connection to unity, to think about how we can live a more God-conscious life. This is a calling. I said it last week, I'll say it next week. All the difficulties in this world that are going on are a calling to people like you and me to say, let's raise our game. Let's tap in deeply. And so it doesn't matter when the redemption will come. It doesn't matter to think about, oh, it's going to come at this point. Whatever it is, whatever is happening, we always strengthen ourselves with Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. With that being said, it's said in the Gemara that when a person goes up to heaven, they ask them several questions. And one of the questions that they ask a person is, did you anticipate the redemption? Did you live your life in a way where you're anticipating the redemption, where you're looking out for the redemption? We shouldn't try to guess. We shouldn't try to say, oh, this is going to be and this is when it's going to be. We don't know. We don't calculate. Many people have calculated, many great sages have calculated, and they weren't correct. We shouldn't try to calculate. But we should try to live our life anticipating and seeking out and yearning and praying for the redemption. The world needs it right now. The world deeply needs the redemption. And so let's raise our game. Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. Let's live our life with this seeking out of the unity of Am Yisrael, the unity of creation. And please, God, may we see the redemption and the Mashiach in our days. B'mheira v'yameinu. Shabbat Shalom.